Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego. And today we are going to talk about An Officer and a Gentleman. That's right, An Officer and a Gentleman. This is my new movie I'm going to review here. And I'm not really sure what category to put it in. Should I put it in Chick-Flick Praise? Or should I put it in Chick-Flicks for Guys? I'm not really sure, so I'm just going to do it both, all right? It's going to go in both categories, all right? Now, obviously, the last time I did a chick flick praise, okay, the only one I've done so far, okay, it was that movie. It was that movie, Till There Was You, okay, from the '90s. All right. Now, I started off reviewing the movie because I wanted to explain to you why the movie was so good, why it was so charming, it was so romantic, and so special and all this kind of shit. But then as I was reviewing the movie, as I watched it again and I was reviewing it because I love that movie, I still love that movie, I realized that it was a piece of shit and it always had been. All right. It was just I didn't realize it at the time when I first saw it because of the conditions that my life was under at that time. Okay, I was young, I was horny, I was broke, I had no car. I'm sitting in a base theater in a military base in the Marines, and I'm watching this movie for free. And of course, I fell in love with it. Anyone in my situation would have, but watching it many years later, from an objective point of view, I realized that it's a piece of fucking shit. No wonder it flopped at the box office. No wonder nobody ever fucking saw this movie. Despite all the girls that I showed this movie to, look how charming it is. It was a piece of shit, all right? And it was, but I still like it. I still like it, okay? Well, I'm definitely not going to do that this time, all right? This movie, Officer and Gentleman, I did not watch this movie when it first came out. I couldn't have. I was a little fucking kid when it came out. All right, I didn't understand all that shit. Okay, but I do remember as a child. I do remember that it won a lot of awards. It was getting a lot of praise, and my mom and her girlfriends were talking about Richard Gere and all this kind of shit and stuff. And I think I might have flipped when I was, channel surfing. I might have flipped through a couple of scenes or something, And I did recognize the girl in the movie, Deborah Winger, but I did not know her from anything except as Wonder Girl. She was on the Wonder Woman TV show. Yes, she was. She was on the first season of Wonder Woman. She played Drusilla, Wonder Girl. Yes, Wonder Woman's fucking kid fucking sidekick. Yes, yes, Deborah Winger did. A lot of people don't know that, but she did. Okay, yeah, she was basically like Batman had Robin, well, Wonder Woman had Wonder Girl, and Deborah Winger was Wonder Girl. That's what I remember her from the old Wonder Woman episodes. Okay, I didn't. My brother loved that show, but I liked it too. I thought it was okay. Linda Carter was sexy as fuck. Even as a fucking, as a 5-year-old, I thought Linda Carter was sexy as fuck. And Wonder Girl, Deborah Winger wasn't bad either. She wasn't that bad, but that's where I recognize her from. That and Thank God It's Friday. Of course, who hasn't seen that movie? It's a disco movie for those of you who don't know. All right, Jeff Goldblum was in it. Okay, it was a great movie. Okay, so I remember her from that. She was the nerdy girl in that one. Okay, but that's it. I didn't really have any interest in this movie. But I do remember the first time I saw it. The first time I saw it, this movie came out in 1982. Now, the first time I saw it was in 1996. Now, why did I watch it in 1996? Because I was thinking about what I wanted to do with my life at that time. I was a young man. And I realized that I think my future lied in the military. At that time, I thought that way. Now, which branch was I going to join? I didn't really know for sure. Army? Didn't really do it for me. Navy? Nah, I get seasick. Air Force, I have no desire to fucking fly jets or anything like that, And plus, I wore glasses, so my eyesight wasn't, you have to be 20/20 eyesight in order to fucking, fly a plane. So, what was I gonna do? Okay, well, I knew that I had an uncle in my family who had been in the Marines, okay? And he was in Grenada. He fought in Grenada back in the early '80s. And he passed away at a young age. He passed away at 27 years old. He was in a motorcycle accident. He had a brain aneurysm as a result of it. He was very competitive. He lifted weights like crazy. He was very into shape like I am. And he finished college in Chicago. And then he got accepted into law school. And he was about to go to law school, but he was working out really hard. And he had an aneurysm, and he died just like that. 27 years old. But I looked up to him as I was a little kid. He wasn't my favorite uncle, but he was one of my favorite uncles. And I remember seeing him when he came home on leave, and he was in that fucking Marine Corps outfit. The dress blues. And I just remember thinking to myself, God, I want to do that someday. And when I grow up, I want to be like that. You might like my Uncle Lionel. And like I said, he died very young, broke the whole family's heart, and all that kind of stuff. But I remember that, and I remember how hard it was to be in the Marines and how they were the best and all that kind of stuff. So I decided if I'm going to join the service, I'm going to join the Marines. So that's what I decided to do. And I did. I met with the recruiter, I did all this. I took all the tests and all that. But I decided now I was inspired. Okay, so I started watching movies about the military, which I'd never really done before. I'd seen Full Metal Jacket, okay, but I saw that with my dad in the 80s when it first came out, So I had a good idea what the Marine Corps was, all that. But I decided to start watching military movies just to prepare myself for going to boot camp in San Diego, okay? I already signed the contract. I was about to go. So I watched this movie. Like I said, I'd never seen it before. I thought it was going to be about, the military, and it was about the military, about a guy's experience going through OCS, Officer Candidate School, and it turned out to be a lot more than that. And I realized why this movie was so popular amongst women. I got it now after I saw the movie, But I think this movie it combines genres. Okay, it is a chick flick, absolutely, and it deserves its place as a chick flick. But I think it was Well, I don't think it was marketed, but I think it was created for men. I think it was supposed to be a dude flick. I really do. Okay, I think it was supposed to be about a man's experience, a straight man, who's masculine. Yeah, I know, right? About his experiences going through OCS, Officer Candidate School, to become a naval officer. The pitfalls, the challenges that he has to face with his psychology, his character, his past. He has to deal with all these things. Okay, these are very, you can make a really good drama out of this shit. For men, just for men. We'll watch this. As long as it's believable, as long as the guy acts like a guy, we will watch this. We will believe it, And then, of course, after I finished, boot camp and stuff, I totally understood. I really understood what the movie was trying to communicate, all right? But there was something in there for the women, okay? And that was the story. Let's face it, okay? If any men went to go see this, I don't think very many men did, but if men had gone to see this movie, I think they would have gotten a lot out of it. I think they would have liked it a lot, okay? They could have put themselves in Zach Mayo, that's the main character, in Richard Gere's character's position. I think they would have gotten a lot out of it, And it definitely prepared me for some stuff that was going to happen in my military career as well, okay? But the real reason this movie did so well, the real reason it became a cultural icon, the reason you women know this movie already without me having to fucking tell you to go watch it, is because of the relatability of Paula the Pollock, okay? Deborah Winger's character. Let's face it, that's what the women were related to. Okay, that was what they emphasized with. Okay, that was what the women understood in this movie, was the character of Paula. They understood Paula very, very well. I think Paula's character touched a lot of women in their core. Like, they knew what that was like. They knew what it was like to fall in love with a man and not sure if that man was going to stay with them or not. They knew what it was like to feel that you have to pull tricks on a guy to keep him in your life, especially not a normal guy, but a high value guy. Okay, let's face it. Zach Mayo is a high value guy, and I will get to that. All right, he's not your ordinary average guy. No ordinary average woman would go through all the shit that Paula does. Okay, in real fucking life, unless the man was exceptional. Now, Zach Mayo is exceptional. Okay, let's face it. Only exceptional men are in these fucking chick flicks. Okay, you never see the guy that works at the fucking Walmart in these fucking chick flicks. Okay, but anyway, and Zach Mayo is most definitely an exceptional guy. Okay, he's part of the 1%, the guys that women just fall all over, okay? But there's a reason for that, and that's why I like the movie. It's explained why he is that way, okay? I understand Zach Mayo completely, 100%. I know this guy. I've been this guy sometimes in my life as well, so I totally get his character, okay? And it's very relevant. This character is very relevant to me, not just now or my past, but also in my future, and I will get into that as well. Okay, but the women related to the Deborah Winger's character of Paula completely. And I mean, there's just such good stuff here. There's like two stories going on here. There's a story about Zach Mayo trying to become an officer. Okay, and it's not really about him becoming an officer. Okay, it's about him becoming a gentleman. That's what the real story is about. He's not doing all this shit to become an officer. He's doing all this shit to become a fucking gentleman. Okay, and you don't get that until the end. Okay, but it's also the story about Paula, and what she's trying to do with her life. Okay, she's trying to undo the past. She's trying to, not make the mistakes that her mother made. She's trying not to be one of those girls, we called them in the Marine Corps, we called them cycle sluts. Okay, she's trying not to be a cycle slut, despite the fact that she is one. She's trying to get away from that. This whole fucking idea that Laverne and Shirley working in the fucking factory, she doesn't want that for herself. Okay, most girls don't. I mean, she lives in a fucking bullshit fucking hick town. Okay, in Washington. Okay, and I know about those towns. Okay, I've been there. All right. yeah, that's not the life that she wants for herself. But how is she going to get out of that? How is she going to get out of fucking staying working in a factory with her mom for the rest of her fucking life? You marry a guy who can take you places, an aviator, that kind of thing, So yeah, so she's in that situation, about what she wants to do with her life, just like Zach is. Zach isn't sure what he wants to do, what kind of man he wants to be, and Paula is not sure what she wants to do. You see what I mean? With her life, where she wants to go with her life. And I thought these two different stories intersect together, and I think that's really good. I think it's great when stories do that. I hate stories that are just about one person per se. I want to root for more than one person. If I want to feel all this emotion towards the main character, if I want to sympathize with them, empathize with them, see myself in those characters, I want more than one. Okay, because I want it to be more than just one person's point of view. If they're dealing with a struggle, I want it to be from multiple points of view. Okay, around the same struggle, because people see things differently. If you only do it from one person, you only get that perspective. Okay, and this movie gives you the same situation from two different people. You get it from Zach and you get it from Paula, and I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, the way they're both going through kind of similar circumstances, but the way they each see each other is completely fucking different. And I think a movie like this can do a lot to kind of mend the relations between men and women today. Because they don't make movies like this anymore. No fucking way, okay? There will be no Zach Mayo. You were thinking they're going to make a movie like this today, 2023? Fuck no. He would be a gay guy fucking trying to flaunt his sexuality, be the first trans at the Naval Academy, that kind of bullshit. That's what would happen today. Okay, it wouldn't be fucking like this. No fucking way at all, they would have to, the fucking drill instructor would be apologizing for not using the right pronouns today, that's what would fucking happen today. And it'd be a gay fucking interracial relationship, okay? It'd be a gay guy on the fucking base that he falls in love with. It wouldn't be a fucking a woman. You gotta get the fuck out of you're out of your fucking mind. It'd be a trans guy falling in love with a fucking dude. That's what it would be, if it was made in 2023. Okay, but obviously they ain't gonna. They didn't think that. They weren't that progressive. Okay, in 1982 when this movie came out. All right. Okay, so I absolutely do love this movie. I think it's one of the best ones. I relate a lot to it because I was in the military and I do understand these characters. I understand these circumstances. I understand women like Paula. Absolutely. I met plenty in my life. Okay, I have. Okay, I talk from experience. Okay, but this movie prepared me for what was ahead of me in my future once I entered the military and once I saw what was really going on, what it was really like. Okay, I'm gonna hope to share some of that with you while I review this movie and why this movie is very good. It's very well made. It's not my favorite movie of all time, but it's damn good. I just watched it again recently so that I could review it, and it still holds up today. There's a lot of this stuff that I really I can relate to today, even many years later. Obviously it ain't 1996 anymore. Okay, I'm a lot older than I was back then. But I can still relate to a lot of the themes that were in this movie. Okay, a lot of the situations, the circumstances. Why does Zach Mayo act the way that he acts? I completely understand. I know this guy. I know Zach Mayo. I completely understand Zach Mayo. I know exactly who he is. Okay, and I can understand completely why he acts the way that he does. Now, there was a lot of controversy when the movie came out. Apparently, Deborah Winger and Richard Gere did not get along. Richard Gere was very stoic in this movie. Okay, it suits his character, but apparently he's like that in all of his movies. I don't know. I've only seen a few of his movies. Okay, I've seen this, and I already reviewed fucking Pretty Woman. Okay, I already reviewed that piece of shit. Okay, that's already on this channel. If you want to see all those videos I did on Pretty Woman and what a fucking abortion that was. Okay, but no, apparently he was too stoic. Okay, he was like Deborah Winger called him a brick wall because he didn't really emote emotion. Well, his character ain't supposed to, okay? There's only a few times that he ever gets emotional in the movie, okay? But whereas Deborah Winger's character is open, she's open to the camera. That's what Richard Gere said. She expresses her emotions freely and openly in all of her scenes. Whereas fucking Zach Mayo's very stoic, very reserved in most of his scenes, and she thought that was bad acting on his part. But apparently they mended it, okay? But yeah, they did not get along when they were filming this movie, okay? It wasn't until 30 years later that they were nice to each other again, okay? So even though the chemistry was so fucking good with those two, I mean, how can you not have chem? There's a scene where she's fucking straddling him and they're both fucking naked, okay? And he's sitting up and she's straddling her arms around him, his arm, and they're fucking naked. Now, I've been in this situation many times. How can you not fucking not get close to someone when you're in that position with them, So it's like, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, they did not like each other when they were making this movie. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about this movie. Okay, like I said, Officer and Gentleman came out in 1982. That's a long fucking time ago. It was directed by a guy named Taylor Hackford. Okay, now Taylor Hackford has had a long history in Hollywood. He's directed a lot of movies. Some I didn't even know until I started researching this. I didn't realize that he had directed some of these movies that I've seen before. Okay, he directed Against All Odds, another fucking romance movie with a fucking hit song. This song, Officer and Gentleman, the hit song was Joe Cocker's Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong. Yeah, I know, now you're singing it, okay, because I just said it, right? That's the theme song to this fucking movie, Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong, where the eagles fly on the mountain high. Yeah, that song. All right, this movie made that song famous, or the other way around. I don't fucking remember. Anyway, but he did another movie kind of similar to that, Against All Odds. You know, that was a Phil Collins song. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about that one. That was Jeff Bridges and some other fucking bitch. Okay, he also did White Nights, which is the movie I love. That was with Gregory Hines and Mikhail Baryshnikov. Yeah, remember him from fucking Sex and the City? He was Alexander Petrovsky on Sex in the fucking City. And how did I know that? Because I've already fucking reviewed every single episode of Sex in the City. It's on this fucking channel. Every single one. Yes, the fucking ballerina himself. Fucking Alexander Petrovsky. Yeah, he was in that movie. Mikhail Baryshnikov. Remember that scene where he did the... Yeah, that's my favorite scene in the movie. But who else was in that movie? Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren was in that movie, who I just recently saw in Shazam 2, and I'm like the only fucking guy. Me and my fucking 7-year-old son were the only fucking people in the movie theater that actually paid their money to go fucking see it. It's one of the biggest bombs, not only in motion picture history, but in the whole superhero franchise history, okay? That movie made absolutely no fucking money and probably destroyed the careers of everyone involved. But yes, Helen Mirren was in that movie. She played the bad guy. Yes, you get a superhero like Shazam who fights an old lady. Yeah, I know. Helen Mirren was, guess who she played in that movie? Well, her and fucking Lucy Liu. But anyway, yeah, Helen Mirren, he's married to her. Yeah, Taylor Hackford is married to Helen Mirren. They've been married since the fucking 90s. Okay, but they met on this movie in 1985, White Nights. Yeah, she was in that movie. Helen Mirren was in that movie. She played Mikhail Baryshnikov's wife in that movie. The one that he fucking left her in Russia and went to America, started fucking all the American girls there. Then his plane crashed in Russia, and now fucking they were holding him there. He was trying to escape, whatever. You've seen the fucking movie. You remember that? Gregory Hines and fucking, you know. That also had a song, another fucking hit romantic song in there. This time by Lionel Richie. What was it called? It was like, what the fuck? I can't remember it. In the next video, I'll tell you what it was. But y'all know the one I'm talking about. I know Lionel Richie's Say You, Say Me. That's it. Say it together, naturally. So by this time, obviously this guy, Taylor Hackford, is a pro at making these fucking romance movies with a hit fucking love song in there. Okay? Sang by a white guy. Okay, or I guess Lionel Richie too. All right, or just a hit love song. Okay, that's the number one fucking song in contemporary pop. Okay, or adjacent to the fucking movies that he makes. Okay, so he's a pro at this by now. Okay, and another thing you probably didn't know. Okay, was Helen Mirren actually had a boyfriend when she met this guy. Yeah, don't tell me he wasn't fucking her in 1980. Of course he was fucking her, okay? Helen Mirren's been very open about her fucking sexuality, about all the fucking cocaine she did in the fucking 70s, okay? And in 1981, Helen Mirren did a movie with Liam Neeson. Yes, called Excalibur, and Liam Neeson was one of the Knights of the Round Table in that, and he was boning the fuck out of her when they were making that movie Excalibur in the early 80s, okay? Remember, she played Morgan Le Fay, okay? Liam Neeson had a small role in that movie, but he was in there. I saw him. I recognized him. Okay, this is way before he did Dark Man and Schindler's List and all that other shit that he did later on, and Star Wars, you know? But anyway, yeah, so they were an item for a long time. Okay, and apparently, according to Helen Mirren, according to her fucking autobiography, which she wrote, I think in 2007, she said that Liam Neeson, just so y'all know, I know y'all need to know this, just so y'all know, Liam Neeson apparently has a very fucking big cock. Yes, apparently a lot of women in Hollywood know this. Okay, and Helen Mirren experienced it firsthand, and I'm guessing that she got tired of it because she dumped him for this guy, for Taylor Hackford. Okay. Who she was off and on again, and then officially married in 1997, which is weird because that was something that she claimed back in the 80s that she would never do. She would never get married, but she did. She finally married this fucker. Anyway, after he'd already plowed through her many times, yeah. So now you know. Now you know. And apparently, from what I've heard, Liam Neeson's schlong has been in a lot of Hollywood actresses. Okay, like I know Julia Roberts. Who else? I just already said Helen Mirren. Just a lot of women. Okay, he was married to what's her name, Natasha something. I can't think of her right now. Natasha, not, I don't want to say Natasha Kinski. No, it was another Natasha, whatever. The one that died on the ski slope. But anyway, we're not talking about fucking Dark Man Liam Neeson. No, we're talking about Taylor Hackford, the director of this movie. Yes, so he's married to Helen Mirren, okay? Yes, okay, he did White Nights. He also did a movie called Blood In, Blood Out, okay, which came out in 1993. I saw that movie. It's about Chicanos in East LA, ese. And I'm a Chicano myself, so I can say that. It's not cultural appropriation. I'm fucking Mexican, for Christ's sake, all right? And, see, I've seen that movie as well. They're in the fucking was that Londra or was that American Me? I don't fucking remember. Anyway, yeah. So he did that movie about East LA gangbangers, prison, artists, and cops. Okay, yeah. There was a Marine in that one too. Benjamin Bratt played the cop Marine. He was a Marine. He was a fucking punk. He was a gangbanger, and then he became a fucking. Then he went to the Marine Corps, and then he fucking became a cop. And his other brother, who was white, he was a gangbanger who fucking ended up taking over the fucking, he's a Latin king, he took over the fucking prison. He kept reoffending. He went back to prison. And then the other one was, became an artist. He got crippled and he became an artist. You've seen Blood In, Blood Out, yeah. But actually, yeah, so Taylor Hackford directed that, 1993. He also directed The Devil's Advocate. Yeah, with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino and Charlize Theron, yeah. I love that movie, and he directed that too. Holy fucking shit. Don't forget Craig T. Nelson, Mr. Incredible himself, and the dad from fucking Poltergeist. He played both characters, Remember that show he had, Coach? Yeah, anyway, yeah, he was in that movie too. All right. Devil's Advocate. Who can forget him from Action Jackson, remember? Okay, anyway. Yeah, Devil's Advocate, that was 1997. Okay, he directed that movie too. With Al Pacino played the devil, Keanu Reeves was his son, all that kind of shit. Charlize Theron was the wife, Keanu Reeves' wife, who the devil fucked. Yeah. Okay, yeah, great movie. Okay, he also directed Ray, the one where Jamie Foxx won the Academy Award, 2004. Ray from 2004. He played the movie about Ray Charles' life. And he did a great job. I saw that movie. I loved Ray Charles. I was a big fan of Ray Charles ever since the first time I saw the fucking Blues Brothers. Twisting, shake it, baby. Yeah, we all seen Blues Brothers. All right, and he also did Proof of Life. Okay, back in 2000. Now, Proof of Life, and the movie that he directed, that was with Meg Ryan, Russell Crowe. Okay, and what everyone remembers about that movie is not the fucking movie. Okay, where Meg Ryan's husband gets kidnapped by some fucking terrorists, and they hold him for ransom, and Russell Crowe is the guy that has to fucking like rescue him and shit, But in the meantime, he fucks Meg Ryan. Okay, even though he's supposed to be helping her rescue her husband. Okay, well, in real life, Russell Crowe was also fucking Meg Ryan. Behind her husband, Dennis Quaid's back. That was the real press for that movie was from that. Because once Dennis Quaid found out that Meg Ryan, America's sweetheart, the girl next door, her whole fucking career was based on playing the nice girl in all these fucking rom-coms. Yeah, she ended up being a fucking whore. And so Dennis Quaid fucking served her divorce papers when this movie was being filmed. Yeah, because he saw the pictures of her, snuggling up to Russell Crowe. Yeah. Yeah, so Anyway, he directed that, so this guy was in the middle of that drama as well. Okay, so that's the director, Taylor Hickford. Okay, so now you know who he is. Okay, the writer of this fucking movie is a guy named Douglas Day Stewart. Douglas Day Stewart, before he became a screenwriter, he was in Officer Candidate School for the Navy. He actually went to the real one. Okay, in Florida. Okay. And this story here, Officer Gentleman, is based on his own real life experiences. He went through all this shit. Okay, he did meet a girl. He did meet this girl that worked at a factory off the naval base. He did fuck her. He did romance her. He did fall in love with her. However, in real fucking life, he fucking left her there. And he went off to the next phase of his training without her. Okay, there was no him, there was no fucking Douglas Stewart walking into a fucking factory and carrying her away in his fucking in his whites. No, that never fucking happened. Okay, no, he invented that. In real life, he fucking left her there and took off. Did I tell you this movie's not realistic? Well, if I didn't, yeah, it's not realistic, okay? I'm going to tell you, in this review here series that I'm doing for this movie, I'm going to tell you what is realistic, okay? And I'm going to add my own fucking personal anecdotes as well, because I've been in this situation. I have. All right. So, yeah, so it's based on his own real life experiences going to Naval Academy Officer Candidate School. Okay, he's done a lot of TV shows. He did a lot of episodes for TV shows and stuff, But he also did some TV movies. He did A Boy in the Plastic Bubble, and that was in 1976. Okay, that was with John Travolta. Now I have seen that fucking piece of shit. Well, it's not that bad actually, but it's a TV budget. It's about John Travolta. He's got this disease. He has no white blood cells. Okay, so he has nothing in his body that can fight off an infection. So if he gets a cut or something or catches a cold, he's dead. He has nothing in there. He has no immunities. Okay, so he has to live in a fucking plastic bubble. Okay, but he wants to touch other kids. He wants to go out there, so he's in this fucking bubble. And he falls in love with this girl, but he can't touch her, obviously. So finally, his mom and his dad. His dad is played by fucking Mike Brady himself. Robert Reed from the Brady Bunch plays his dad with his fucking afro. Okay, and then Dina Hyland plays his mom in that movie. Okay, and that's where John Travolta and her first met. Okay, was in this movie, this made-for-TV movie, okay? And I love the ending, by the way, where he finally breaks out of his bubble and decides to go out into the atmosphere. Fuck it if I die, I don't give a fuck, And he finally gets to touch the girl that he fell in love with in this movie. He's a teenager, he gets on the horse, he goes, where are we going? Astronopolis! Ah! And then you hear that stupid-ass folk song, what would you say if we up and ran away? Yeah, I've seen it. You've probably seen it, too. He did this before Welcome Back, Kotter, all right? Boy in the Plastic Bubble, anyway. Well, Dina Hyland, the actress that played his mom, now, we already know that Robert Reed was gay, okay? But Dina Hyland, the woman that played his mom, was his real-life girlfriend. Yeah, and then she passed away from breast cancer a few years later while he was filming Saturday Night Fever. She passed away. He actually left the set of Saturday Night Fever to go be at her bedside before she passed away. Yes, he did. Yeah, Dina Hyland. Yeah, and at the time she was also working when she got diagnosed with breast cancer. She was actually the mom on Eight Is Enough. Yeah, she played Dick Van Patten's wife. Thomas Bradford, yeah. I think her name was Emily Bradford or whatever. I don't give a fuck. Or Sue Bradford, or that might have been one of the daughters. I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah, she was on that show when she came down with breast cancer. She actually was in like 4 or 5 episodes of the first season, and then she was hospitalized, and then she died. Okay, unfortunately, she died. But Dina Hyland, yes, she was a lot older than John Travolta. I think she was a good 12 years older than him. Like I said, she played his mom in that fucking movie, okay? But that was his real-life girlfriend, okay? And she passed away, all right? So, yeah, he directed that. Okay, I mean, he wrote that story, okay? He also wrote The Blue Lagoon, remember that movie? With Brooke Shields and Christopher Atkins? That was one of those movies on HBO that my mom wouldn't let me see, because we had HBO in the late 70s, early 80s, and I couldn't see that movie because there was nudity, and it was kids having sex, and, you had Brooke Shields and Christopher Atkins having sex, and they actually have a kid. And I saw the movie later on. I wasn't impressed by it, but, these two kids stranded on a fucking island. What else are they going to fucking do? All right, yeah, The Blue Lagoon. Yeah, it's supposed to be romantic, whatever. Who gives a fuck? And he also wrote The Scarlet Letter in 1995. That was back when Demi Moore was at the height of her sexual powers back then. Okay, she was everywhere. She's the most popular woman in Hollywood back then in the mid '90s. Okay, she was on a winning streak. She's Scarlet Letter. She had done Indecent Proposal. She had done a G.I. Jane around this time, Striptease around this time, A Few Good Men, okay? I mean, she's done a lot of shit, all right? And one of them was The Scarlet Letter, okay? So she was very in demand at this time, okay? So yeah, it was a Demi Moore vehicle, and of course she had the very highly publicized marriage to Bruce Willis, who was another A-lister in Hollywood at that time. It's her, Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They all bought in. They all sold the rights of their names to open up a fucking restaurant chain called Planet Hollywood. For those of us that are old enough to remember that, yeah, this was around that time, 1995. The Scarlet Letter, yeah, Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, yeah, Demi Moore played it. She's cheating on her fucking husband. I think. Her husband was played by, I don't fucking remember his name. I think he was in The Godfather, though. But she was cheating on her husband with Gary Oldman. Yeah, Gary Oldman. Scarlet Letter, yeah, if you've seen that movie. All right, moving right along. Dave Stewart's real life. Okay, the cast. Who's the cast of this movie? Okay, Richard Gere plays the main character as Zach Mayo. Okay, Zach Mayo. They make fun of him. They call him mayonnaise. I like his character. He's very believable, very relatable. He acts like a man throughout the entire fucking movie. Good for good and bad. And that's one of the reasons I love him. I completely understand Zach Mayo. I love his character. Deborah Winger is the one who plays Paula, the Polak, Pokrivki. Or Pokrivki. Yeah, I don't know how to fucking pronounce it. I'm not Polish. But yeah, Paula Pokrivki. Okay, she's the other main character. Also, we got David Keith. He plays the other officer candidate that's there that becomes best friends with Mayo. Okay, he plays Sid Worley. Okay. Where have I seen him before? Well, I already told you about Deborah Winger. I've seen her. She was Wonder Girl on on the Wonder Woman TV show, the first season of the Wonder Woman TV show from the 70s. Okay, and she's also in that movie, Thank God It's Friday. If you've not seen that movie, go fucking see it right now. Stop what you're doing and go watch it. Thank God It's fucking Friday. It's one of the best fucking movies ever made, in my personal fucking unbiased opinion. Okay, it had fucking Jeff Goldblum in it. It had fucking Donna Summer sang the main song. You know, Last Dance. The fucking Commodores, yeah, Lionel Richie, yeah, they were in the fucking movie playing themselves. I mean, the movie's fucking great. How can you not watch it? Anyway, Thank God It's Friday. Go see it. Go see Thank God It's Friday. All right, I like that movie better than this, although I do love this movie. It's pretty good. All right, anyway, yeah, David Keith is in there. Deborah Winger, yeah, she was in Thank God It's Friday. That's why I brought it up. All right, David Keith is in there. Like I say, he plays Sid Worley, Mayo's best friend. Lisa Blount plays Lynette Pomeroy, and we'll talk about her. Unfortunately, she's probably the most realistic character in this fucking movies. I've met plenty of Lynette Pomeroys. But as a side note, there was a TV show in the 90s called, what the fuck was it called? I have it here. Prophet. It's called Prophet, and she was on that show. Okay, yeah, she was on that show called Prophet. Look it up. It only lasted one season. It's an incredible show, and it came out in the mid-90s. I think it was 95 or 96. Okay, but she was on that show. She played the main character's stepmom, and he was boning her. Yeah, Prophet. Watch that show, man. Look at it. You can get it on DVD for free, man. Or not for free, but I mean it's like $5 to get the whole fucking season. I have it here somewhere. Anyway, yeah, she was in that. She was in that. Lisa Blount, she was in that, all right? Robert Loggia plays Brian Mayo. He's not in the movie very much. He plays Zach Mayo's dad. He's the Navy guy, you know, but he's enlisted, though. He's not an officer, okay? And you've seen him before. He was on The Sopranos. He was in Scarface with Al Pacino. He was in Big with Tom Hanks, okay? You've seen him. He's got that crackly voice, Robert Loggia, yeah. You know, like that. You know, he's been in a lot of fucking shit. Wait, his resume is way the fuck out there, all right? And then, of course, you've got another guy here, the character of Daniels. We never get his first name. Daniels is played by fucking David Caruso. You remember him. He's still around. He's on fucking, CSI Miami right now. He's like the leader of that, the redhead, the ginger guy, you know. And before that, he was on NYPD Blue, I think, on ABC or CBS. Who gives a fuck? I never watched it. But I remember he was like a big deal from that. David Caruso. Yeah, good old David Caruso, this fucking ugly fucking ginger motherfucker. All right. And then, of course, the guy that steals every fucking scene he's in, the great Louis Gossett Jr., was also in this movie. I believe he won an Academy Award for this movie. Okay. He plays drill instructor, gunnery sergeant Emo Foley. Okay. And let me tell you something. I haven't been in the Marines. I've met plenty of gunnery sergeants. Obviously, I went through boot camp, so I know a lot about drill instructors. Okay. And this guy fucking, it was correct. Okay, this guy fucking played it correct. Now, I told you earlier in this video that I watched this before I went to boot camp. Okay, well, once I got to boot camp, I realized that everything Louis Gossett Jr. did in this movie was fucking completely 100% the truth. Okay, this is really what it's fucking like. Okay, and it was. I talk from experience. All right. Now, just so you know about this movie, okay, a lot of people auditioned for this role. This movie was made for John Travolta, but John Travolta turned it down. He also turned down American Gigolo, which came out a couple years later. Both of those roles, this one and American Gigolo, went to Richard Gere because John Travolta turned them down. Okay, so yeah, the best friend Richard Gere ever had was fucking John Travolta. Okay, because that launched his career. Richard Gere's worst enemy he ever had was Sylvester Stallone, because Sylvester Stallone got him fired from the Lords of Flatbush back in the early '70s. Yeah, that was the movie they were in. Yeah. Okay. Was that a lot of other actors auditioned for this role. It wasn't just Richard Gere. Jeff Bridges, Harry Hamlin, you remember him from fucking LA Law, and also he was Perseus in Clash of the fucking Titans, one of the greatest movies ever fucking made. Yeah, him. He auditioned for the role, and so did Christopher Reeve. Superman himself auditioned for this role, although he would have been terrible. He would have been terrible in this role. He's too tall, too handsome, too everything. You know, no. Okay, but yeah, Richard Gere won. He beat all those other guys for this part. Okay, now as far as the character of Paula, Paula was offered to Jennifer Jason Leigh, okay, but she turned it down. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jennifer Jason Leigh, she turned it down to go do Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She played the pregnant girl, okay? You remember Judge Reinhold's sister that got pregnant? Okay, yeah, well, yeah, that was her, okay? She turned down this to go do that, which, it was a great movie. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is a great fucking movie. It captured the early 80s, okay? Nicolas Cage was in it. Of course, Steve Piccoli, who could forget fucking Sean Penn's character in that movie? Okay, Forrest Whitaker, I mean, You had a lot of fucking great talent in that fucking movie. And she went to go do that, okay, instead of doing this. So because of that, other actresses had auditioned. Sigourney Weaver auditioned for this. So did Angelica Houston, although I think she was too fucking old at this time. And she was dating fucking Jack Nicholson. Rebecca De Mornay, who would have been great. I mean, fucking sexy as fuck. Rebecca De Mornay. Yeah, remember her from Risky Business? Yeah, hell yeah. You know, Rebecca De Mornay. Meg Ryan also auditioned for this role. Okay, so did Gina Davis, although Gina Davis is too fucking tall, too broad-shouldered, and too fucking square-jawed. Okay, she's a lesbian woman's fucking dream come true. She's got the fucking chisel features, big shoulders, small waist, and she's a woman. Yeah. Gina Davis would have been terrible for this ball. So it went to fucking a shorter Deborah Winger, who is sexy as hell. She is sexy. Like I said, she was Wonder Girl. All right. Gere and Winger did not get along. I already talked about that. You know, Arlie Ermy, okay, who used to be a real drill instructor back in the 60s. You remember him from Full Metal Jacket. I mentioned that I'd seen that movie earlier. My dad took me to go see it in 1987. Arlie Ermy, he played the drill instructor in that one. The one that gets killed by, what's his name? Yeah, you've seen the movie. Anyway, by Pyle. Yeah, by Private Pyle. Okay. So anyway, yeah, Arlie Ermy, he actually trained Louis Gossett Jr. on how to be a drill instructor because he had been a real drill instructor in real life. That's where you got that phrase, are you steer? All that comes from Texas are steers and queers. And I don't see no horn sticking out of you, boy. You know that? He got that from Arlie Ermy. Arlie Ermy actually used that line later on, 5 years later when he did Full Metal Jacket. Okay, that's why you heard the phrase twice in two different movies. Okay? Okay, so that was going on here. Okay, they filmed it in Fort Worden, which is an abandoned Army base, okay, in Washington State. They had to because the real base is actually in Pensacola, Florida, where they train the Aviation Officers Candidate School. It's actually in Florida, and Florida said, fuck you, no cameras are allowed in here. Okay, so they had to film it, they had to make it look like the aviation officers trained, they went to school in fucking Washington, when in real life they did in Florida. Okay, all right, now, that's where the real school is. Okay, now I'm gonna stop my review right here. This is my introduction to Officer and Gentleman, but I'll be back shortly and we'll start reviewing the fucking movie, okay? I thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.